Hello, gorgeous ladies of the FUNdation of the l'anglais, votre meilleur bagage community. I am coming live today. So excited. My name is Andréane Duquette. If you have not met me yet, well, nice to meet you. And if you know me already, well, you can say hello in the comments so I can look at all your beautiful comments after this Facebook Live. Yesterday was absolutely amazing. It was so beautiful to read you. And wow, I already feel the magic. I hope you do as well. Hello, Véronique. Hello, Dominique. So this week is the big reveal week. So what does it mean? It means that there is a brand new 6-month program coming out, and I am delighted to explain to you where it came from, why I created this brand new program, because it already existed and it was still creating amazing transformations among the ladies in the community. But hi, good afternoon. But it was really important for me to come here and explain to you what's this new frequency all about. So this week I will be live every day. If you missed the Facebook Live from yesterday, you can go ahead and watch it. It was wonderful. Hello Isabelle. Hello Marie-Pierre. And I will be live every day this week, and I will be just giving you more information as we go. I didn't want to do it all at once because I have so much to tell you. I have so much I want to share with you, and this is very meaningful and very important for me to come here with all my truth and all my love, and to tell you how I paved the way for myself and therefore how I can lead the way for you. So this week I have 5 Facebook Lives in total, 1 each day, and there is a wonderful contest. Alors, on a préparé un super concours. So if you have not watched yesterday's Facebook Live, I will tell you again what is the contest all about. And so, hello, Hélène. Hi. So essentially, what I wanted to create for celebrating so in order to participate to this contest, it's really easy. What you have to do is to share this Facebook Live on your personal Facebook wall, okay? So I have seen some of you who shared the Facebook Live from within the community, because we have different Facebook groups for the girls who are already clients, right? So just be mindful that you want to put it on your personal Facebook wall, because it's not the same place, right? So what you can do is you can save the link, copy paste, and paste it on your Facebook wall, okay? So you share the Facebook Live on your Facebook wall, and then you write what resonated the most for you in the Facebook Live. And then you click publish, and then you come back here under this Facebook Live, and you can say, I shared it, and you tell us what resonated the most for you in the Facebook Live. Alors, je vais dire en français, c'est important la partie de mentionner, de nommer qu'est-ce qui a résonné le plus dans ce Facebook Live-là, en le partageant, puis en venant en dessous ici dans les commentaires pour nous dire qu'est-ce que tu as aimé le plus, qu'est-ce qui a vraiment qui t'a parlé, toi, qui t'a touché. C'est bon? Alors aussi, vous pouvez me taguer. Parfois, ça peut aller plus vite en me taguant avec le @ commercial, le arrobas, Andréane Duquette, LAVMB. Hello Véronique, hello Roxane, Marie-Michel, hello Gypsy. Alors, let's start with today. Today, I want to share my deepest intentions behind FUNdation REFINement, the 6-month program. And I want you to understand, again, the context on how this started in my life, this intention of creating an intensive English training, okay? Because it is absolutely immersive and intensive, and it's an amazing training, but there's a whole story behind this, okay? So I will take you back in time a little bit just so that you understand my intention, truly where it all came from. So I want you to know that 2015 and beginning of 2016, when I became an English teacher, I was working for 3 different schools. At first, I was self-employed, working from different schools, 2 schools from Quebec City, 1 school from Montreal. And I was driving everywhere in downtown Quebec City, on the south shore of Quebec, so Lévis. I was going everywhere. So most days, this is incredible. Most days, I was driving 6 hours to teach 6 times a 1-hour session. I was like gone for 12 hours every day, but for working 6 hours. So that's how I started as an English teacher. And then eventually, because I was also a yoga teacher at the time I was becoming. So I became an English teacher before becoming like a real yoga teacher with my 200-hour teacher training. So, hello Angèle, hi Roxane. So I was becoming a yoga teacher and therefore working full-time as an English teacher. And I was studying at university also while I was working a lot. I mean, I'm a manifesting generator. I have a lot of energy. I can do a lot of things at the same time. So that was my life back then. And I was also, you have to keep in mind that I quit Disney on Ice. I joined l'Université Laval University. And I wanted to create a new identity for myself. I did not want to be a backstage technician anymore. I didn't want to be a professional skater anymore. I didn't want to be in the show business field anymore. So I needed to turn my life around, create a brand new chapter in my book. So, you know, I told you yesterday, I'm not someone who likes to wait. So I was like in a rush of becoming the new version of me. So that's why I was teaching a lot. I was studying at Laval University at the same time and studying to become a yoga teacher at the same time. I know. And so while going to the yoga studio every day, I met amazing people. And then I started making my own clients from the yoga studio. So eventually I started saying no to a bunch of contracts from those schools that I was teaching for, and then started having my own clients, but still on the road all day to go from left to right, Quebec City, Lévis, everywhere. And it was fun at the time, but wow, in hindsight, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, that was a lot. That was a lot. And I know some of you are working, you are reps on the road, and honestly, I admire you because I'm not someone who loves driving that much. I mean, I'm a good driver. I love driving short distances, but just not all day. And so that's really how it started for me. And at the time, there was an enterprise who hired me to start giving English classes to this wonderful girl, wonderful young lady. She was a few years younger than me, so we got along really well. We connected really well. And when we started her English classes together, her level, she was always like, she was still, how can I say? She was able to make sentences. She was able to hold a conversation. So therefore, she was not starting from zero. But it was really important for her company that she would get that level of English like much higher, much more fluent, because she works HR and she needed to talk to so many employees who were drivers actually inside her company, and they didn't speak French. And so it was important working in HR to be able to communicate with everybody. And so, allô Cathy, Manon, hello. And so she started taking classes with me. We created a beautiful connection, and she was improving. She definitely was improving because she's intelligent, she's quick. So it was fun because there's nothing better for a teacher to see your students improving. But at some point, we plateaued. And as a teacher, you always want to see your students improving and getting to the next level. And I was like, why are we plateauing right now? You know? So I would drive back because I had a lot of time on the road. So I would drive back and think, how am I going to get this girl to the next level? And so, of course, I started to question her, you know, about what else can I do? Good afternoon, Claudette. What else can I do to help you to get to that next level? Because we were having, at that point, her level was intermediate, like a good intermediate. I was really proud to have brought her there. But I was like, how am I going to get her to use expressions, phrasal verbs, and to just be more fluent and faster in her speech. And so these thoughts were there, and then she was lacking still a little bit of confidence for her work, and she would come up to me and be like, Andréane, like every time I pick up the phone, like I'm just so nervous it's gonna be someone in English. And I know she's not the only one who feels this way, right? And I used to feel that way. When I joined Disney on Ice and I was 18 years old, I didn't speak perfect English then. I had good grades in school, but then I got to the real world and I was like, what do they teach us in school? Like, it does not serve me in the real world. So I remember picking up the phone in my hotel room and being all nervous, like, who is it going to be? Am I going to understand? And sometimes the front desk people, oh my God, the front desk people, they were talking to me like I was from the South of the United States, you know? And I was like, no. Can you repeat, please? So when my client was expressing to me, Andréane, I pick up the phone and I'm hot, like I'm sweating everywhere. I'm bright red, even though nobody can see me. I'm not feeling good. I still block. And so I started coaching her on her mindset. And of course, as I was becoming also a yoga teacher because I taught her for years, right? So I became a yoga teacher while teaching her like 1 hour a week. And then at some point I was like, look, why don't you come to the local yoga studio? Just come to my classes and just come and meditate and come to connect to your inner world. Because she was working from home. Sometimes we know how it is. When we are always in the comfort of home, then there are things that you won't do. Like for me, I love yoga. Ask me to do a 60-minute yoga class right now in my living room? No thanks. I need to go to yoga studio to do a proper yoga because I'm going to be thinking about my dishes in the sink and the laundry that's in the dryer waiting for me to fold it. And I'll be thinking about all the things, all the chores, and not about me. And so I was like, look, I invite you to come to my classes. You'll see the first one is free and then the first month unlimited, blah, blah, blah. Super cheap. So just come and try them all. And then she started coming to the yoga studio. And then because I never, at the beginning, I wasn't so much like mixing. I mean, I was in subtle ways, but with her, after she started yoga, I was like, see what I teach at yoga, like apply this in your daily life at work. So I was able to show her how to regulate her nervous system and how to gain confidence with the practice of strengthening your mind, because that's what we do in yoga in so many different ways. And yes, the posture, but there's also the breathing, and the breathing can be so challenging. For those of you who have done breath work before, you know how challenging that can be, right? And so I found that so fascinating to see her going from being plateaued in her English, starting to come to the yoga classes, starting to work on herself and the inner world, and then transforming herself. And then the confidence just rising. And so for me, I was like, well, 1 + 1 = 2. Oh, it started brewing more ideas, right? Like I was just like, okay, there's something there. Like what I do, what I teach in yoga, when I apply it for my English clients, it works. It's like, yeah. Anyways, so that was like a breakthrough for me at that point. And then I kept that in mind and in my heart. And of course, we're busy. Life goes fast for everyone, but that stayed in my mind. And then I was, when I was driving for all these hours, I was like, now like she had reached like an advanced intermediate level. I was like, we plateaued again. And I was thinking, what can I do to make her so fluent that she does not need me anymore? Because at some point I was like, look, why are we still seeing each other? Your English is so good. And she's like, I love you. You're like a psychologist in English. And back then I was, in the summer, we were going for walks together around her neighborhood. We had the perfect path around the neighborhood to make it 1 hour class. That was amazing. But at the same time, my goal is not to keep me with me, you know, forever. My goal is to grow your big wings so that you can fly and do all the things your heart desires, right? So I started questioning her and I was like, why don't you go to an immersion? You know, and she was not the only client that I was asking this question, because the ones that I had been teaching for years, 1 hour per week, I was like, why don't you just go on an immersion? And they're like, nah, impossible. And I'm like, why? Well, because it's too far and I don't want to go alone, and well, the kids and my commitments, and I can't take vacation for that, you know. Everybody had their own reasons, but it was too far, it was too long, it was not possible in their head. And some people, if they had never traveled outside Quebec, the province of Quebec, or outside Canada, or if they haven't gone too far, then of course, the nervous system is like, too intense, no thank you, you know? But I was like, this is maybe just the last thing you need in order to break all the barriers and be comfortable in your work space, in your work role, your professional role, okay? And so that reminds me, okay, so I'm thinking about like this specific client. I was teaching her 1 hour a week, and then when I was driving back, I realized, of course, if she doesn't go on an immersion, if you think about it, 1 hour per week, it's only 4 hours per month. And this particular client didn't want to do homework. I was giving her homework. I came back every Tuesday and the pages were blank. And I was like, you have to do your homework. It's important to integrate everything I'm teaching you. She's like, I don't have time. No. And so, of course, when you do 1 hour per week of English, it's like taking a piano lesson 1 hour per week. It's like a hobby. It's like leisure. But your big why is not leisure. Your big why will potentially, most likely, change your life forever. So you can't treat your English class like a leisure. Like, oh, I look at my schedule and, oh, I have to skip something this week because I have to take an appointment. I'm going to skip English. No. Your big why has the potential and the energy of changing your life forever. But then I understand them. I understand because I used to take dancing classes once a week. And if I did not go to the intensive weekends on Saturdays and Sundays, and I don't know if you know about Brazilian Zouk, I love that dance. It's so technical and so flowy. I love the music. So the Zouk dancers, ladies, they stay up so late. And that did not resonate with me, but at the same time, I wanted to become better, and therefore I wanted to go to the intensive weekends, right? But before I got into the intensive weekends, I needed to be a beginner at something again, and I needed to show up 1 hour per week. And I was thinking, wow, 1 hour per week is not enough. How am I gonna get intermediate if I'm in this beginner class doing 1 hour a week? Think about it. 1 hour a week is 4 hours a month. That's not much. And then in the Zouk community, I met this guy. He's a Chinese guy, and his name here in North America is Clément. And it was really interesting because when I met him in a dancing evening, he asked me, Andriane, for how long have you been doing Zouk? And I said, oh, like not long, like a month and a half. And he's like, so how many hours is that? And I was like, oh, not many hours, I'm guessing, right? 6? And he was like, right. And I was like, so how many hours of Zouk do you have? And he knew exactly how many hours. Because he said, Andriane, you could be doing Zouk dancing for 3 years, but if you never go to any intensive, if you never go to any festivals, then you don't have that many hours in your pocket. And I thought, that's freaking brilliant. Because it's so true. We say, oh, I've been learning English for 2 years now. Yeah, 1 hour a week. And so that obviously like hit me, you know, when I started realizing for my client, I was like, okay, I've done so much like great work with her, and I want her to just get to that fluent level of just so much confidence and so much posture. And so that's where I started bringing a lot more like the coaching that I was learning through yoga, like the mindset practice and just practicing to control your mind. I hope that, okay, I hope that you see me and it's working well. So I observed their behaviors, I observed their results, and then from there, after they told me, no, I don't want to go on an immersion, it's too far, it's too this, the kids, the job, no, I can't take vacation and all that, then I was like, fine, I am going to create an immersive experience. I will create an immersive experience. I mean, by now, everything I had tried, this was like, obviously, if I created FUNdation REFINement in 2021, started teaching in 2015, then that was already there, the 6 years of just seeing my clients growing and transforming themselves, but like at a slow pace, you know, not as fast as I wanted. But I had so much data. I just analyzed everything. I had so much data to go from, and my confidence when I started creating FUNdation and REFINement, it was really high because I had seen already the results, right? And so I knew what kind of transformation I could bring, but my goal was to doing like inside an immersive experience so that it could happen much faster and I could just change lives much faster. And so this is essentially where it all started for me. Hello Julie, hello Carmel, hello Angèle, Kim, Manon, Aranza, hello. So I'm sure you can understand the context and how it makes so much sense when you think about it. If you want to transform your English really fast and become bilingual in 1 year, well, you have to do like an intensive program, an immersive experience. And I created that with FUNdation and REFINement. And at the very beginning, when I built the whole skeleton of the training, because for me, c'est comme préparer des plans de cours, préparer des workshops, préparer des journées immersives. Je l'ai fait tellement avec le yoga que pour moi, m'asseoir puis préparer le squelette de FUNdation REFINement, ça m'a pris 30 minutes. Genre, Puis la façon que j'ai monté ça, c'est que je me suis dit, je vais enseigner tout ce que moi, j'aurais bien voulu savoir avant d'arriver aux États-Unis avec Disney on Ice à l'âge de 18 ans, où je me sentais zéro outillée. Puis j'étais comme, ben voyons donc, quel genre d'anglais qu'ils nous enseignent à l'école si j'arrive aux États-Unis pas capable de parler. Vous comprenez? Fait que là, je me suis dit, parfait. C'était quoi mes blocages dans le temps? C'est où que ça marchait pas dans ma tête? C'est quoi que j'ai eu le plus de misère? Puis là, j'ai tout structuré ça. Et puis là, au début, at the beginning, tu sais, pour moi, c'était nouveau. Je vous l'ai dit hier, pour moi, c'était nouveau là, de travailler en ligne, créer une formation en ligne. Puis j'étais aussi dans l'apprentissage du marketing, les réseaux sociaux, le copywriting, toute la patente. Mais je suis manifesting generator, capable d'en prendre. J'apprenais tout en même temps. Puis je faisais tous ces beaux projets-là en parallèle. Et puis, au début, je voulais vraiment apporter de l'avant mon côté coach d'anglais. Fait que je voulais pas appeler ça au début une formation d'anglais parce que je trouvais que ça faisait... Ça reflétait pas qui j'étais dans ce temps-là. Puis moi, j'arrivais vraiment de mon monde de coacher du yoga, coacher de l'accro, raffiner des mouvements techniques, faire de la répétition, driller des skills et tout ça. Puis en réalité, c'est la même chose pour l'anglais. OK? C'est fou comment mon enseignement du yoga a aidé à mon enseignement de l'anglais. Et puis, parce que j'arrivais vraiment de ce contexte-là, puis c'était ça mon expérience, je voulais vraiment être connue comme une coach d'anglais. Fait que je voulais appeler ça un accompagnement intensif. Parce que je voulais accompagner de façon intensive mes clientes à se transformer en 3 mois. Parce que FUNdation REFINement au début était 3 mois. Et puis, je raisonnais beaucoup plus avec accompagnement intensif dans ce temps-là que formation intensive parce que, justement, les gens me connaissaient pas encore en ligne. Tu sais, les gens de Québec City puis de de Lévis. Il me connaissait parce que là, il m'avait connu dans différents événements de yoga, tout ça. Tu sais, je me promenais en masse, là, comme vous pouvez voir. J'étais toujours sur la route, right? I was driving all the time, so I was meeting a lot of people everywhere. So those people knew me, but the rest of the province of Quebec did not know me. And so I needed them to know that I do things very differently over here. My method is very different. You know, I use French to teach English in order for you to click faster and moving on to what's exciting, which is conversation. So I was really trying to move away from the beige English school. I wanted the girls to know that with me, it's very unique. It's very fun, it's stimulating, it's vibrant, I'm dynamic, I have this unique method of teaching, and I needed to bring that forward. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna call this accompagnement intensif. So that's really how it started. And another thing behind this accompagnement intensif, and I don't know if you watched last night. Thank you, Andre. I don't know if you watched last night's Facebook Live, but I was telling you how I hired a business coach to help me, right? And so something that I absolutely loved with her is that I had an voice message accompaniment inside the boot camp that I was doing with her. Fait qu'est-ce que ça veut dire ça? C'est que j'avais 4 jours par semaine accès à elle sur Voxer pour poser toutes mes questions. OK, là, je suis en train de préparer telle affaire, tel visuel, tel landing page. Tu sais, est-ce que, bon, si je dis ça comme ça, c'est-tu correct? Bon, peu importe. Toutes les questions que je pouvais avoir, j'avais 4 jours par semaine que j'avais le droit de lui poser. Donc, même si je la voyais pas tous les jours en one-on-one ou en groupe, ben, mes questions étaient répondues, puis moi, j'avançais, là. J'avançais à une vitesse de l'éclair. Fait que, quand j'ai créé l'accompagnement intensif, j'ai dit, c'est sûr que ça prend ça. Because the problem that I realized with all my clients who were doing 1 hour per week is that outside that 1 hour per week, they were not practicing English with anybody, or sometimes on the phone for 5 minutes. But that was not enough for them to level up their English. You know what I mean? So for me, it was important to create something where they would have one-on-one sessions, group sessions, but also where they would feel supported by me on any days of the week. And so that's why, for those of you who know about FUNdation and Refinement, that's where my idea came from implementing Voxer, implementing the voice messages inside the accompaniment. And frankly, the girl I saw in the celebration call last week on Friday, so 4 days ago by now, I asked her, when I asked her, what are you the most proud of? She said, Andran, what I'm the most proud of is that I consider myself now bilingual. I feel so fluent. I feel so proud. It's incredible. And I said, that's amazing. Can you tell me what helped you the most to reach that level of English and that level of confidence? And she said, being able to talk to my coach every day. Because speaking out loud is the key. Repetition, repetition, repetition is the key. If you only practice out loud 1 hour per week, it is not enough. Not enough to go fast anyway. Not enough for your big why. Not enough for all your objectives, your goals, your desires, and your heart. It's not enough. So that's why in FUNdation and Refinement, we have a little bit of a processus. We have a process in order to enter the training, because we desire to accompany ladies who have a really important big why, because we want them to really take advantage of that privilege of talking to your English coach every day for questions, practicing something, pronunciation. You didn't understand something in the video, and then you ask her, Voxer is there for that. The voice messages are amazing. And from Monday to Friday, you can talk to your coach and practice out loud. Isn't that amazing? So it's all about repetition. You probably heard this story before, but if you're new in my universe right now, then you've never heard it, and I will tell you right now. Quand je vivais au Mexique, je prenais des taxis pour aller à la plage, parce que la plage à Veracruz était comme à 45 minutes de route. excuse-moi, 45 minutes à pied. Donc, je prenais des taxis. Des fois, ça me tentait pas d'y aller à pied, il faisait trop chaud. Donc, je prenais des taxis. Et puis, quand je rentrais dans le taxi, tu sais, rendu à la fin de la ride, le gars, il me posait des questions. Tu sais, clairement, je viens pas de la place, là, tu sais. Puis, Veracruz, c'est vraiment pas touristique. Ben, tu sais, ça l'a un petit peu, mais pas tant que ça, là. On ne parle pas vraiment, là, de Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, tout ça, là. On est vraiment de l'autre côté. Fait que, il me posait plein de questions. Puis moi, je répondais à leurs questions. Puis les questions étaient tout le temps les mêmes, on va se le dire. Parce que, je veux dire, c'était la première fois que je voyais ce taxi driver-là. Donc, il me posait toujours les mêmes questions. Fait que moi, je répondais. Mais là, à chaque taxi ride, les mêmes questions revenaient, puis à chaque fois, je raffinais mes réponses. Je raffinais, je répétais, je raffinais. À chaque fois, je rajoutais un petit mot. Je suis comme, oh yes, I just did that. Fait que la répétition, là, c'est tellement important. À la fin de mon 4 mois au Mexique, là, je dis que j'étais bonne à répondre aux questions au taxi driver, là. Parce que j'avais tellement répété, puis là, c'était rendu fluide, j'avais même plus besoin d'y penser. Blablabla. Allez, ça sortait comme dans l'eau. C'était vraiment fantastique. Fait que je me suis rendu compte à quel point, puis faut pas se tanner de raconter son histoire, se tanner de se présenter, se tanner de parler de ce qui nous passionne, de notre travail, les projets qu'on a au travail. Faut, you know, don't get tired of telling these stories and just practice telling these stories, because one day you'll meet someone really important that will probably open a beautiful door for you, open some sort of an opportunity for you. And because you will have practiced, you will be so ready to tell this person everything about yourself. Because repetition, repetition, repetition. It's the key. And so practicing out loud is just so important. And we live in, when we are in Quebec, when we are living in the province of Quebec, most of us are in a French environment. And it is challenging to practice. So for me, one of my deepest intention was to create a community, like a lifetime community, where you come in, you refine your English, you get to that beautiful level, and then you have a whole community with common interests, with mutual respect, mutual admiration, where the girls, they resonate in the same frequency as you, as us, a beautiful community with who you can practice and you can connect with different people who get you. Because it is challenging to find a place to practice, even though you're like, oh, I'll find people to practice. Oh, my sister-in-law said she was going to practice with me every Friday. Well, that lasted a week. It's so true. I mean, how many clients have told me, Andréane, all these people in my family, they speak English. They told me they would practice with me, but they don't. Of course, they want to. In their heart, they love you. They want to, but life goes fast. Life just... You know, time flies by. Everybody's got their own life. Everybody's got their own projects, their own thing. And English is your project, not theirs. So that's why it doesn't last, even though their intention is there and true and they love you, right? And so it's important to find the community that you can practice out loud, that you can feel comfortable and not fear of being judged. Because it is so valid to feel fears. Before you actually get some sort of accompaniment and before you hire an English coach, there are so many fears that are there. Il y a tellement de peur, comme peur de pas y arriver, peur d'être toute seule dans ta situation, peur de faire des fautes puis de faire rire de toi. Encore, parce que ça se peut que dans le passé, t'ailles fait rire de toi, puis c'est pour ça qu'aujourd'hui, l'anglais, il y a un blocage, mais c'est comme dans ton cœur, il y a une graine là, qui attend juste de pousser, là, parce que la graine est là. You want to speak English fluently. You want to be excellent in English. The seed is right there in your heart. It's just waiting to be watered so that it can bloom. And in order to bloom, you need a great environment, a safe environment. If you're not feeling safe, you stay like this. If you feel safe, you bloom. It is valid to fear to not sound the same in your second language than your first language. It is valid to fear the judgments of others because we do even in French. It's valid. You're not the only one who fears that. And it's valid to, you don't want to just te débrouiller. Les femmes qui viennent me voir, Andréane, je me débrouille, là, mais Caroline, là, je cherche mes mots. Ça bloque quand je viens de temps de parler avec quelqu'un qui est bilingue, parce que là, je sais qu'il parle français puis anglais, mais là, on est entouré d'anglophones, fait que là, il faut que je réponde en anglais, mais là, je bloque. J'ai chaud, je deviens rouge, je me sens pas bien. Combien d'entre vous ont potentiellement vu, bon, peut-être un directeur arriver dans l'environnement de travail qui parlait anglais ou un client qui arrive qui parle anglais de faire comme « Oh, I'm going to the bathroom. All of a sudden, I need to go over there, somewhere far, far away from here. » Right? Like that feeling, my clients have felt this feeling before transforming themselves in FUNdation REFINement. So that's all valid. I want you to know that. And I want you to know you're not the only one. And I want you to know that when you are joining a powerful, like a community with empowered women, with ambitious women, and with women with whom you feel safe, then you can bloom. And then the blooming experience is so wonderful because it goes in so many different tangents. And that is absolutely wonderful. So that was definitely one of my intentions when I created FUNdation REFINement, to offer a space, a context where it's safe to practice out loud, to make mistakes, and it's okay. You have to be willing to fail before to succeed. It's like the story I told you yesterday about my Station B. Failure before success. It's the same thing with your English. You have to speak and make mistakes to know that this is a mistake and to learn that you say it differently. And then you know from now on that this is how you say it in your sentences. If you never make the mistake, then you're never going to be moving forward. And it's important to practice and make those mistakes and to not fear other people's judgments within our community, within our group of ambitious women and empowered women. And empowered women, they empower other women too. So if it is in there for you, you will get the energy from all of us. And then you're going to bloom and transform yourself in ways that you can't even imagine. Because right now you're listening to this with your own pair of glasses, but the thing that we do inside the FUNdation and REFINement is that we change that pair of glasses. My deepest intention is for you to not only finish that 6-month program feeling blown away by your level of English, but also blown away by who you have become along the way. And that's why it's so important for me to take this time this week to do these Facebook Lives, to explain the frequency, to explain really what's behind all of this. Because it is so meaningful and so powerful. I wanted to create a 6-month program that was so vibrant, so stimulating for you, so inspiring for you, in order to feel blown away by the end. In order to say things like my client from last Friday, Andréane, what I'm the most proud of is that I consider myself bilingual now. Isn't that amazing? Don't you wish you would say the same one day in your celebration call with me? But the thing is that it is possible. You have to give yourself the permission. You have to want it, and you have to make it a priority. Because those girls who say things like that to me, English was their priority. It was not an option to skip it in the schedule. And It's not like the 1 hour piano lesson or the 1 hour English lesson a week where you only get to do 4 hours a month. No, it's an intensive program. It's an immersive experience in order to immerse yourself. My intention was to create this context where you feel immersed without going for 2-3 months outside the province to be immersed in an English province or in the United States or whatever. Because I know most of you, you have 12,000 reasons and they're all valid. It's fine. I understand. I mean, not everybody can just leave 2 months and 3 months. I get it for sure. You know, when you have kids, when you have the job, when you have all the commitment, we're all ambitious women. We are involved in so many projects, but imagine being immersed from the comfort of your home with a lifetime access to a beautiful community where you can practice. So this container is where you dive in some sort of immersion without leaving home. And that's why it was so important for me to implement the voice messages every day on top of all the coaching sessions, all the one-on-one sessions, and all the extra workshops and Q&As and things that we bring in there as surprises, because I love surprises. So I like to add things here and there when the vibe is there. So that was one of my intention as well. How can I create some sort of immersion without them having to leave home for that long? And that's how FUNdation REFINement was born. Earlier, I told you how it used to be called accompagnement intensif. Today, it's called formation intensive d'anglais. Because with all the years of looking and just witnessing everybody transforming themselves inside the program, I have collected a lot of feedback. I have collected a lot of data. And then we have improved every season, every semester, we improved the formula. And then eventually I was like, okay, let's make a brand new one with all of this plus all of this and the new frequency and the new mindset. And that's the brand new FUNdation REFINement that is born. And that's why it's so exciting for me. And that's why I am celebrating with you this week, because this is huge. My transformation and my identity feels huge. The shift feels huge. FUNdation REFINement, the change in there is huge. Because everything, like, obviously we always improve ourselves, right? It's been my mission. It's a personal mission, and it's obviously one of the values in LAVMB with the value of evolution. I always want to improve myself. So imagine 4 years of getting the feedback, adding things, getting the feedback, adding things, modifying this. And so now FUNdation REFINement, the way it is built and the way it is presented, it's the perfect immersion for you to transform your life forever. Because remember how at the beginning, l'accompagnement intensif était de 3 mois intensif. Maintenant, c'est 6 mois. 6 mois dans une vie, c'est pas tant que ça. 6 mois pour changer le restant de ta vie, c'est pas tant que ça. C'est intense, of course, c'est une formation intensive. On veut t'immerser dans la langue, on veut que tu pratiques à tous les jours, on veut que ça devienne ta priorité, on veut que tu sois all-in, on veut que tu restes connecté à ton big why, parce que sans big why, de toute façon, tu peux pas rentrer dans FUNdation REFINement. C'est important de garder le standard de la vibe, de la high frequency. That's super important for us. Alors, c'est important pour moi de partager ces choses-là parce que j'ai vu des femmes se transformer en 3 mois. J'ai vu des femmes se transformer en 6 mois. Et puis là, je suis excitée, quasiment impatiente de voir les femmes se transformer dans le nouveau FUNdation REFINement par tout ce que je sais que j'ai ajouté en énergie et en contenu. C'est juste incroyable. Donc, c'est important pour moi. Hello Sonia! Hello Guylaine, Véronique, Manon, hi! C'est important pour moi de prendre le temps d'expliquer tout ça. because there's always so many intentions behind everything we do. And so for me to create this vibrant program where you have fun and where you start almost falling in love with English. I have a client, when she finished her FUNdation REFINement program, she told me, Andriane, I never thought that English would become my favorite hobby. Like every day, because you know how we invite you to do English every day in all the trainings that we do in l'anglais, votre, meilleur, bagage. Well, she did not want to stop after the FUNdation REFINement program. She was like, I'm continuing, and this is where I'm having the most fun in my day, because I changed her perception, her pair of glasses on how she's looking at English now. And that's what's so special about the method. But imagine how I felt when she said that. She's like, my favorite hobby. I'm like, wow. She used to, I mean, she loves hiking as well. And I was like, do you like it more than hiking now? And so it's just different, obviously, because hiking is physical activity and then English is more like a cognitive competency, right? But still, I was so happy to hear that. I have another client from France. She met up with me on Zoom. She's like, Andriane, I need your help. I freaking hate English. I hate my accent, but I work in real estate and I have more and more clients from England, from Russia, and all these European countries that they would come to Nice. She lives in Nice, and they would want to buy properties, and they would go to her agency, and she was the co-owner of the agency. And she's like, I don't have a choice to speak English if I want to sell these properties, but I hate it. I was like, okay, I get it. Okay, so I questioned her. We started the FUNdation REFINement program together. And by the end, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe how much fun I'm having speaking English and selling these properties to these British men or these British people. And she was telling me this with the biggest smile. And sometimes she was like on Voxer telling me, Andriane, I just sold another one. I was like, yes. So imagine the transformation for her coming with the energy of, I hate my accent. That's a big one. That's a big, big one. Because it comes from other layers. It comes from other things, right? I don't like the language. I don't like the way it sounds. I don't like very much, anything about English. And she felt like she was not an imposter, but when you are trying to sell your things in your second language, you don't feel the same credibility, right? And that is frustrating. And that can make you mad when you're trying and it doesn't work. And then sometimes you lose the sale because your English was not at the same level as your French, right? I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with that. Well, she felt like that. She felt almost like she could not be, she was like, I can't be myself. I feel like an imposter. I am so good at selling these properties. I know everything. Boom, boom, boom. I know the list. I know I'm so good in French, but how can I become as good in English? And then she did FUNdation REFINement. And then her transformation was mind-blowing. I have another client. She came to me. She cried within 5 minutes. She was like, Andriane, when I try to speak English, I feel like a child. I don't know who I am when I start speaking English because that's not me. I'm like a freaking child trying to speak. The tone of the voice, not speaking as loud, using like the baby voice, not the same posture at all as when she speaks French, and playing it like little girl kind of energy just so that they can understand, well, this is my second language kind of thing. And she hated that. She was going to bed at night crying, thinking, why can't I speak English to my clients like a normal adult woman? And so she told me all of this. And I understood her big why. I understood her needs. I understood what we needed to do together. And so we started FUNdation REFINement together. And she had, hello Audrey, she had a lot of vocabulary, but because of her blockage, she needed to learn how to place this vocabulary in sentences in order to have a conversation. But simultaneously to that, we needed to work on her posture and her confidence. So the confidence of the senior coach that she is in French, I needed to take that and bring it into her identity in English. So we worked on that together in FUNdation REFINement. And then it's incredible how she speaks English now. And it feels like almost like it was already there. But the blockages and the traumas from the past made her speak like a child, like a little girl. And we all do it at some point in the process. It's not, sometimes we don't even realize it until we do realize it and we're like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? And so when your big why is so meaningful and so powerful, of course, it gives you all the energy and all the discipline, all the motivation to do it, to prioritize it for only 6 months in your life. What is it, 6 months in one life? And on the way and throughout the 6 months, you have fun. You meet amazing and inspiring women. You start maybe finding a new passion, like the other client I told you about earlier. You connect with amazing coaches. The coaches in l'anglais, votre meilleur bagage, by the way, they all speak English from birth except me. So they are bilingual, but English is definitely a language they speak since they were born. So I'm the only one who learned it a little bit later. But at the same time, thanks to that, I created the method of l'anglais, votre meilleur bagage. You know how yesterday I said maybe you didn't learn English until now in your life because you had something to transcend with it? Well, I've already told you, I know now that I am meant for this. I know now that God chose me for this. And I know it was part of my path to not grow up with English in order to learn it the way I did and in order to like having to figure it out all by myself and then eventually be here talking to you in this Facebook Live. I truly believe that. And so my deepest intentions for this FUNdation REFINement is definitely creating an immersive experience, a place where you can feel safe, a place where you transform yourself, you feel supported, you feel inspired by everybody that is in there. Because it's not just me, and it's not just me and the coaches, it's all of us, ladies. It's all of us. And that's why l'anglais, votre meilleur bagage, this is a premium training, right? That's why we choose the ladies, we select the ladies, we talk with the ladies in order to enter in the program because the places are limited and because we need to all make sure that we are on the same frequency, that we have common interests, that you have a big why that is so important that I know you will do it, that I know that you will use your privilege with us because there are so many privileges working with us. And it's important for me that coming in this adventure, you're like, yes, 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 yes. I'm all in. This is what I'm doing. This is my priority. And then I created FUNdation REFINement in a way where it respects your busy life. It is important to do English every day, but it's this kind of immersion where you can do from home and where it respects your busy life because I know that ambitious women have busy lives. And so that has been thought of in the making of FUNdation and REFINement. But at the same time, it has to be part of the schedule. It has to be planned. It has to be there. And that's not the thing you skip on the schedule, right? So that is important for me to explain all of this, because I'm sure you get the vibe. Like, me and the coaches of LAVMB, we are all in coaching you and teaching you and giving us all our tricks, and we complement each other because we all have different strengths. And this is what's so wonderful about working as a team. And this is such a big difference between the very first FUNdation REFINement, where I was doing everything and working alone, and now in 2025, because the whole team of l'anglais, votre, meilleur bagage is there to support you. We're all bringing our strength and our energy for your success. And so this is why I call it une formation intensive now, because it's so much more than un accompagnement. It's so much more because we are many coaches in there. There are my team of passionate women from the customer service are in there as well. And we cheer for you, because sometimes you know how it is. When you want to practice English and you're just surrounded by your people, they don't cheer for you. They don't maybe understand how important this is for you. You probably feel misunderstood. And then when you go traveling with your partner, maybe your partner speaks for you when you go like this inside. You played cool. But inside, you're like, I wanted to say that sentence. Just give me 30 seconds more. And they don't get that because maybe they haven't gone through that. But I get it. We get it. And that's why it's okay to go at your own pace and your own speed, and to come in and start with day one. You have to start to become great. You can't wait to be great to start. It goes the other way around. So that was important for me to explain these deep intentions, because that's definitely so close to my heart, and that's definitely part of my truth as well, the evolution of how it all came. And then I want to make sure, I have something I want to tell you too, because I had this question many times in the past, and I know it's going to be useful, maybe even for some of you for your own work if you are self-employed. And so the coach I was telling you about yesterday, who was teaching me about marketing and social media and copywriting, she sat me down one time and she's like, okay, Andréane, you do so many things, and yes, you're talented at all of them, but let's just sit down and make like a table like this, okay? Alors, on a fait vraiment comme un tableau avec un T, une croix, okay? With a cross in the middle. And she said, in one of the quadrant right there, you're going to write down who are the favorite people that you like to teach, and then that brings you money. And then you have another quadrant, who are the favorite people that you like to teach that doesn't bring you a lot of money. Then who are the people that you don't like to teach but that brings a lot of money, and who are the people you don't like to teach and doesn't bring a lot of money. And I was like, all right. So I absolutely loved this exercise because it brought so much perspective on what I was offering. And then I realized that, and this was at the time, like I really had like my accompagnement intensif était vraiment ciblé pour les entrepreneurs, mais là avec le temps, je vais l'expliquer comme en date d'aujourd'hui. I realized how much the LAVMB team and we love teaching ambitious women. And it's the conversations that we have. It's how we connect. It's how we trust one another with what we share together. It's the level of being able to be vulnerable and removing the mask in order to connect for real. It's all these interests in spirituality or self-development and well-being and connecting to nature. It's all these common interests of wanting to grow, to evolve, wanting to become constantly the better version of ourselves. So when I speak with ambitious women, and when my team speak with ambitious women, we're all like, sometimes we send each other WhatsApp messages and we're just like, oh my God, look at the conversation I just had. And we share things, we share a moment like that because that's the reason why we do it. And we know that what we do is so important, but we know it has the impact that we wish when we work with the right people. We are aware that we might not be an energetic fit, energetic match for everybody, but it's okay because the ones that we have an energetic match with, it's absolutely phenomenal what we experience together. And when you have a coach who loves coaching you, and then you love talking to your coach, and imagine the connection and imagine all the magic that you experience in your coaching sessions. And then the same with other women among the group where you're like, wow, in the real life, if I would have seen you at the bar, at the restaurant, at the dancing night or whatever, I would have never talked to you because we don't have the same lives. But now that we talk to each other, wow, we do have a lot in common despite the fact that we do different jobs, like opposite jobs. But doesn't mean we can't connect and we can't understand each other and be there for one another and have compassion and have empathy. So the connection is something that is so important for us. We value relationship big time. And that's why there are limited places in our FUNdation REFINement program, because we really want to have that with you. And often how we know that there is a match is, like I said yesterday, our intuition, our yes. If you know about human design, check out your authority. Do you have a sacral authority? Do you have an emotional authority? Do you have a splenic authority? Those three authorities, they're so intuitive, and the answer is within you. You have the yes. And just like I was saying yesterday, when you have a calling, you have to, not you have to, I invite you to follow your calling. Me, I say I have to because there's no other choices. There are no other choices. From now on in my life, when I have a calling, there are no other choices. I will follow that calling because look where it brought me. I told all the story yesterday. It's incredible when you follow your calling. So I invite you to pay attention to those yeses, to those moments of, oh, I think this is for me. I think I'm ready for this. And then if you think, then most likely you are. And then if the fears are coming, what do? Stop. Let the calling win the fight. That's really what I wish for you. But again, divine timing. There is a divine timing for everything. And trust that. And have faith. When you walk in life with faith, it's incredible what it changes. And something I didn't mention yesterday, but that's really important because I saw that a lot of you, when you shared the Facebook Live, what resonated the most with you was like the manifestation part that I was telling you about. And so it's really important to know that it comes with so much gratitude, this practice of manifestation. It comes with so much gratitude all day long, morning, afternoon, evening, all the time. And if you have never practiced cultivating gratitude, you can start today. It's easy. You go to bed, you have this tiny little notebook that you love with your favorite pen, and you write 10 gratitude of the day. And then eventually, after 20 days, 30 days, you do it in the morning and at night. And then you keep doing that. Practice gratitude. It's going to change your life. And then when you mix that with manifestation, then it's phenomenal what it creates. So I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything before I close this beautiful Facebook Live. There is one thing I want to share, and it's the last thing. And I'm telling you about manifestation right now, and I'm telling you about listening your inner calling. And sometimes, even though we feel the calling, somehow the fears come, and then there's another layer of excuses that come in front of it, right? And then that layer of excuses sometimes will make us step out of our dreams, of our desires, of that path that could lead us towards those dreams and desires. Because you have two choices, according to me, when you want something in life. You can either find excuses or you find solutions. And we have this client that before she started the 6-month program, she came to us and she was very, very emotional because she needed to pass some exam because she works for the federal government. She needed to pass all these exams in order to have a professional role that was bilingual, that was mostly in English. And then she had failed. And it's not because she wasn't able to speak English, but they were so strict on those results. And of course, when you do these exams, because it's related to your salary, it's related to your dreams, then it's so important for you. And then you get all nervous and then you do your best, but the best was not enough because you were so nervous and the cortisol in your body was just too present in order for you to have the same brain as usual. So she came and she told us that, and wow, I felt so touched by her story because it happened to a lot of the clients that we have, this kind of story, right? Because in all the government, that's what they do the test, right? And they have the A, the B, the C, the thingy. And so she entered FUNdation REFINement. And then while she was doing her 6-month program, she unfortunately had to accompany her dad towards the end. And he passed away. At the same time, her daughter had anxiety attacks. Like there was a huge period where there was so much anxiety and she had to accompany and support and guide her daughter through that. And at the same time, she was doing this immersive experience, FUNdation and REFINement, where technically you have to do English every day in order to get the results in 6 months. But her big why was so important. What she was dreaming of when she was closing her eyes at night, that dream job with that dream salary, because you know when you have both languages, the salary increases as well. And so when she was visualizing that, she kept connected to her big why. And she did her English training. And she did everything she could because she did not have excuses. She only had solutions. Well, now guess what happened after she finished the 6-month program? She got the job. She got the job, and it is actually 100% in English. It's not even a bilingual job. It's not like I pick up the phone sometimes, it's in French. No, it's always in English. And she got it because she chose to stay strong, to use her power. She stretched her capacity to accompany all the loved ones, but also did not forget about herself and her dreams. So if she could do all of that in 6 months, you can. You can. So thank you so much. I see some messages, some comments, and I will read you after this Facebook Live. Before I close, oh my gosh, it's 1:11. Before I close this Facebook Live, I want to remind you that if you want to participate and win the brand new FUNdation REFINement, the 6-month program, the big winner will be announced on Friday and Saturday in the Q&As. You can share this Facebook Live, write in your post what resonated the most for you in this Facebook Live, and you come down here in the comments, you do the same thing, you write what resonated the most. You can tag me. you can tell us you've shared it, and then we will put your name again in the hat. I say again because you have 5 chances of winning if you attend the 5 Facebook Lives. And yes, that it has to be on your wall as well. I think I said that at the beginning, but if you joined in the middle, then yes, it has to be on your own personal Facebook wall. So thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, I will be back Facebook Live on Wednesday at 6 p.m. And I will tell you about the method of LAVMB. I will tell you about our unique approach. And I just can't wait for it. Until then, we'll have a wonderful day. And I see you tomorrow. Bye, ladies.